So we did it, everybody. We finally made it to football season. After all of this time between the draft and now, we have made it to the first preseason game where the Dallas Cowboys will take on the Pittsburgh Steelers in the annual Hall of Fame game. The one that was supposed to happen last year, but due to the pandemic, it was postponed to this year. And it's going to be a desperately needed extra game for the Cowboys this preseason so that they can really get these young guys acclimated and up to speed. Now, I know I talked about this twice already, but now that we know who's making the trip and just a little bit of notations on what has been talked about on who might play and who's going to play the longer, stuff like that, we can do a proper pregame. Now, before I go any further, if you can down below, smash the like button because it helps this video do well in YouTube's algorithm and it helps the channel a lot. On top of that, if you are new here to the channel, I do recommend subscribing. About 90% of you watching aren't subscribed, so if you want to get more Dallas Cowboys content from myself, make sure to hit the like button and subscription button, and make sure to hit the notification bell as well so you don't miss out. Now, I understand that many people will say that preseason can be meaningless, the Hall of Fame game especially, but we got to understand that it's more important now, like I mentioned before, because we didn't have a preseason last year. So, to start things off, who is going to be making the trip? Now, Jane Slater has confirmed that Bradley and I, Josh Ball, Francis Bernard, Amari Cooper, Chauncey Goldstein, CJ Goodwin, Tristan Hill, Malik Hooker, Blake Jarwin, DeMarcus Lawrence, Jordan Lewis, Zach Martin, Dak Prescott, Tyron Smith, TJ Vasher, and Greg Zuerlein are not going to be at the Hall of Fame game. Now, this is not a big deal for the main starters, but if you're guys like Bradley and Nye, Josh Ball, Francis Bernard, and Chauncey, well, with Francis Bernard, to be honest with you, he has more to lose out of the others. But the point being is those guys, you know, CJ I think is fine. Tristan Hill, that's huge because he needs to be able to get that playing time. But hey, we'll see. Now, Malik Hooker, I understand. Blake Jarwin, you know, okay. Jordan Lewis and some of these other guys. TJ Vasher, to be honest with you, I don't think he makes the team. But for these younger guys to not make the trip, this is huge because if they want to try and get on this 53-man roster, or let alone the practice squad, they need as many reps as possible. So, out of all of them, the two biggest losers is gonna, it's gonna be Francis Bernard and Tristan Hill, because they're not playing in this game. And listen, they still have 3 more games to make an impression, assuming that the other players don't do well. But I'm not gonna read super much into it. But with all that, that sucks. So with that, let's go ahead and move forward into what to expect. Now, looking at the notes that I have prepared, the first thing is Garrett Gilbert could just immediately solidify himself as the number 2. Now, for all we know, Garrett Gilbert just had a fluke game. But again, I think that, to be fair, he is the best quarterback out of the bunch of him, DiNucci, and Rush. That's not saying a whole lot, but then again, we don't know what could happen. For all we know, he doesn't do well, and Ben DiNucci improves from last season, so it kind of is like, well, maybe Ben DiNucci is your backup, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you're Garrett Gilbert, you need to kind of take advantage of these opportunities to just refine yourself. Now, another position group I'm looking at is the rookies of the entire defense. You know, from what we're hearing, Micah Parsons is going to play. Kelvin Joseph is probably going to play. Nahshon Wright is going to play. Now, from what I'm hearing and from what I've just seen through the notations that have been made through, sources and stuff like that, Parsons and Joseph are more likely to, in fact, get playing time. Now, as for Nahshon Wright, I'm really curious to see how he does. I understand also that, hey, you're not going to get a full picture because you're going up against backups and third stringers. But if it's third stringers going up against third stringers, that's a different conversation. But overall, I think that is important that we get to see what we have there. Now, the receivers, I'm really curious as well because they are, we have a logjam there. We know who your top 3 guys are going to be. Hell, you could probably argue you already know who your 4 are going to be. Now it's like, okay, so what does Noah Brown do? What does Simi Fehoko do? And those guys. And I think that it's important to understand that it's a huge possibility if Simi does perform well, Noah Brown could be on his way out. So I'm really looking forward to him, the 81 and just the swagger he looks that he brings. And to be fair, some people will be like, well, he wasn't that impressive at Stanford. You gotta understand that he didn't really have the best quarterback there, and so he couldn't really have a whole lot, to say statistically. So there is that. Now, in the other notes that I have, let's see. You do have a situation in which, at the safety position, you don't know who can do it. Because, again, you have options, but considering the fact that Malik Hooker is not playing in this game, and I'm kind of expecting him to make the roster automatically, but we've been hearing word that Jabril Cox has been getting reps at safety. We're hearing all the word about Israel. I forget his last name, and I feel bad because I always have trouble pronouncing it, so I don't want to seem very ignorant there. But if you can phonetically tell me how to pronounce it, that'd be greatly appreciated. He's been doing well in camp, and a couple of these other guys like DeMonte Casey and stuff. Now, here's my thing, and I talked about this in a previous video, is that, look, is it that the quarterback and the offense, in camp are doing bad, or is it that the defense is that good? Because we've heard it in years past that, hey, you know what, the Cowboys defense is doing well and stuff like that, and then they ended up sucking, So, I'm really more so looking for these in-game reps and stuff like that. Now, with that being said, should we take a whole lot of this seriously? I would say don't take it super, super seriously, but maybe get a couple context clues here and there. But overall, I cannot wait to see the Cowboys finally play a game of organized football. While it may be preseason, we're on the way to getting to the regular season. Now we are like 4 or 5 Sundays away, and that's just crazy how long we've come. We've all been waiting in Dallas Cowboys fandom to finally see our team play. Let's see what these young guys can do. And I'm great, and I can't wait to just analyze what happens in this game. So I'm not sure if I'll live stream the game. I probably will not, because I want to, focus on the game entirely. However, what I will say is that do expect a post-game video once the game is over. So whether it be the night of or whatever. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for sitting through the whole way through. If you can leave a like, subscription, and notification bell being rung, that'd be awesome. Comment what are your expectations for this game, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye-bye.